Every kitchen had one. You know exactly the one I mean. It didn't have a name. Nobody ever called it anything but the drawer. And if you needed a rubber band or a twist tie or a stub of pencil or the good scissors, somebody would holler from the other room, "It's in the drawer." And it always was. Always. That drawer held everything that ever mattered and not one single thing that did. You're smiling already, aren't you? Because you can see it, you can hear it stick a little when you pulled it, and rattle when it finally gave. And here is the thing that should stop you cold. Almost nobody keeps one anymore. We threw it out somewhere along the way, and we told ourselves we were getting organized. But we weren't. We were giving something up, something quietly important, and we didn't even notice it go. Now, think about the last time you needed a rubber band, or a safe pin, or a little piece of string. Right now, this minute. Where did you go? You didn't have one, did you? You bought a whole bag of them at the store, used one, and lost the rest. That's the trade we made. We gave up the drawer, and we gave up being ready, and we started paying for every little thing over and over that used to just be there. I'm going to open that drawer with you tonight, one thing at a time. Every little treasure in it, and the quiet wisdom behind why we kept it. And there is one thing that drawer always had, one thing that yours will almost certainly never have, and it is the thing I miss most of all. I've saved it for the very end. So stay with me, because once you see it, you're going to want to start keeping a drawer of your own again. Picture it for a minute. It was usually the second drawer down, next to the sink, or right under the telephone on the wall. It stuck a little when the weather turned damp, and you had to give it that certain jiggle, lift, and pull that every member of the family knew by heart. And when it slid open, there it all was, in the afternoon light, a glorious, rattling jumble. Nothing matched, nothing was labeled, and yet every soul in that house could find what they needed in about 4 seconds flat, by feel, with their eyes half closed. That drawer was chaos to a stranger and a perfect map to a family, and that, right there, is the first little miracle of it. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, settle into your favorite chair, and let's pull that old drawer open together, you and I, and see what's rattling around in there. And while you're getting comfortable, do me a kindness and tell me down in the comments where you grew up and what your family kept in their drawer. I'll bet we kept a lot of the very same things. Let's start with the first thing your hand always landed on. Number 1, rubber bands. A whole tangled nest of them. And not store-bought, mind you. These were saved. The wide red one off the morning newspaper, the skinny ones off the broccoli and the asparagus at the market. My mother would peel that rubber band off the celery, and instead of tossing it, she'd open the drawer and drop it in every single time. "Those are good rubber bands," she'd say, like it was the most obvious thing in the world, and we had hundreds of them, free, for years. Today we buy a bag of rubber bands and the rest dry out in a junk pile somewhere. Start saving the ones that come into your house already. You'll never buy another. And here's the funny thing. Those saved rubber bands held everything. They closed the bag of flour. They held the deck of cards together. They bundled the letters from your sister, tied up the rolled-up dollar bills, kept the cabinet door shut that wouldn't stay closed. One free rubber band, a dozen jobs. That was the whole spirit of the drawer in a single little loop of rubber. Number 2. Twist ties and string. Oh, the string. There was always a little hank of string and a fistful of those paper-covered twist ties off the bread bags. And there was nothing in this world you couldn't fasten, bundle, hang, or fix with a twist tie and a bit of string. The tomato plants got tied up with them. The extension cords got bundled with them. A broken zipper pull got a twist tie looped through it and worked for another 5 years. My father used to say, "There's no problem so big a little string can't help with it. Save your bread ties." Keep a ball of string in the drawer. You will be astonished how often it saves the day. Number 3. The good scissors. Now this was sacred ground. Every drawer had the good scissors, and woe to the child who took them out to cut paper or, heaven forbid, hair. Those stay in the drawer, my mother would call out, and she had a sixth sense, I swear. She could hear those scissors leave the kitchen from 2 rooms away. They were good, sharp, heavy scissors, and because they had a home, they were always there when you needed to open a stubborn package or snip a thread. We have 10 cheap pairs scattered around the house now, and can never find a single one. Keep one good pair in one known place. That's the whole secret your mother knew. Number 4. A stub of pencil and a little pad. There was always something to write with, worn down to a nub, and a scrap of paper or an old envelope to write on. Because when the phone rang, or you remembered you were out of flour, or a neighbor gave you a recipe over the back fence, you needed to write it down right then. Quick, grab the pencil. That little pencil took down phone numbers, grocery lists, the doctor's appointment, the score of the card game. In a world that now forgets everything, the moment the screen goes dark, there is real peace in a pencil and a pad that never need charging. Keep one in your drawer. Write things down. You'll feel steadier for it. Number 5. Matches and a candle. And here we're getting close to something important, so hold on to this one. Every drawer had a book of matches, or a box of the kitchen kind, and at least one candle, usually a fat, stubby one, half burned already. Why? Because the power went out. It just did. In a storm, in the heat of summer, in the dead of winter. And when it did, you didn't panic, and you didn't fumble in the pitch black. You reached into the drawer, in the dark, your hand knowing exactly where to go, and you struck a match, and you lit that candle, and the whole kitchen came back into being, warm and golden and calm. I'm going to come back to that candle at the end, because it means more than you think. So remember it. And here's a little something to chew on before we go further, the kind of thing that'll have you nodding. Have you noticed that you can't find a rubber band when you need one, but you trip over the phone charger in every single room? That's the whole story right there. We filled our drawers with cords for things that break in 2 years, and we cleared out the simple stuff that lasts a lifetime. Funny old world. Now, back to the drawer. Number 6. Buttons and safety pins. There was a little tin, or just a loose scatter of them, spare buttons of every color and size, and a row of safety pins hooked together in a chain. A button popped off your good shirt an hour before church? Into the drawer. A hem came down, safety pin, and nobody was the wiser. My grandmother used to say, "A safety pin has saved more Sunday mornings than the preacher," and she wasn't entirely joking. A few spare buttons and a handful of pins will rescue you 100 times in a life. They cost almost nothing and they live forever. Get yourself a little tin. Now, let me stop a moment. Because if you're nodding along, if this drawer is feeling more and more like your own family's drawer, then you and I are cut from the same cloth, and I'd be honored if you'd subscribe and pull up a chair here. This little channel is just a gathering of folks who remember when things were kept and mended and ready. We'd be glad to have you. Now, let's keep digging, because the drawer's not empty yet. Number 7. The odd little tool. Usually a single screwdriver, the flat kind, that did the work of an entire toolbox. It tightened the loose cabinet hinge. It pried the lid off the paint can. It poked the crumbs out of the toaster, with the toaster unplugged, of course. There might have been a pair of pliers, too, and maybe a little hammer. Just enough to handle the small troubles of a house without dragging out the whole toolbox from the garage. "Hand me the screwdriver from the drawer," my father would say, never even getting up. Keep one good screwdriver in your kitchen, you'll use it twice a week and wonder how you lived without it. Number 8. The keys. The keys. Every drawer had a little collection of mystery keys, and I mean mystery. Keys to doors that no longer existed. A key to a padlock no one could find. The spare key to the back door, the one that saved you the day you locked yourself out in your slippers. Nobody dared throw the keys away, because the very week you did, you'd need one. They were little brass question marks, jingling in the corner of the drawer, full of forgotten stories. I remember holding one up to my father once, a fat old key gone dark with age, and asking him what it opened. And he turned it over in his fingers slow, and he got a far-off look, and he said, "You know, I couldn't tell you any more, but I'm not throwing it out." And we both just laughed. You've got some of those keys still, I'll bet, even now, in a dish or a drawer somewhere. We can't quite let them go. And there's a wisdom in that, in keeping the spare, the just in case, that we'll come right back to before we're done. Number 9. Tape and glue. A roll of tape gone a little yellow at the edge, and a tube of glue with the cap stuck on, because things broke, and the first answer was never to throw them out and buy new. The first answer was, can we fix it? The handle of a favorite mug, the corner of a school book, the sole of a shoe, all of it got a try with the tape or the glue before anyone gave up on it. We've lost that first instinct, the instinct to mend. Now the first instinct is to order another one. Keep tape and glue in your drawer, and let your first thought be the old one. Can this be saved? More often than you'd think, it can. Number 10. The batteries and the spare fuses. There was always a battery or two rolling around, and in the older homes, a spare fuse or a flashlight bulb. Things that meant when something quit, you weren't helpless and you weren't stuck waiting on the store. The flashlight died right when you needed it, there was a battery in the drawer. That was the whole spirit of the thing, really. Be ready, so the small emergencies of life stay small. Keep a couple of fresh batteries in your drawer. The night you need them, you will thank your past self. Number 11. The clothespins. Right there in the kitchen drawer, far from any clothesline. Now, why on earth would a wooden clothespin live in the kitchen? Because it was the finest bag clip ever invented, that's why. The bread bag, the potato chips, the bag of beans, anything that needed to stay closed and fresh got folded over and pinned shut with a clothespin from the drawer. My mother would twist the bread bag tight, snap a clothespin on it, and say, "There, now it'll keep." And it did. We buy little plastic clips now, a whole bag of them, and lose every one. A wooden clothespin costs a penny and lasts 30 years. Toss a handful in your drawer. You'll wonder why you ever did it any other way. Number 12. The bottle opener, the old flat metal kind some folks called a church key, sharp triangle on one end for punching open a can, the round hook on the other for prying the cap off a bottle. Before every can had a pull tab and every bottle a twist off, that little opener was how you got into anything. Punch 2 holes in the top of the juice can, one to pour and one to let the air in. My father taught me that 2 holes, son, or it glugs all over the table. It hung in the drawer for 30 years and never once needed fixing, sharpening, or replacing. A simple tool that did its one job perfectly, forever. They don't make much like that anymore, and more's the pity. Number 13. The birthday candles. Tucked in the back, in a little crushed cardboard box, was a jumble of birthday candles, every color, half of them already used, the wax tipped with a little black where they'd burned. Because in our house, you didn't buy a fresh box for every birthday and throw the rest away, you saved them. You scraped the old frosting off, and you saved them, and those same candles lit up birthday after birthday, year after year, for the whole family. There's something so tender in that, when I think on it now. The very same little flames, celebrating one child after another, growing up around that same kitchen table. Keep your birthday candles. There's more memory in them than wax. Number 14. The spare change. Down in one corner always a little scatter of coins, nickels and dimes and pennies, the milk money, the bus fare, the exact change you sent with a child for the school trip. Look in the drawer for a quarter, my mother would say, and there always was one. It wasn't a fortune. It was just enough, right there, when a little was needed and the bank was closed and nobody carried much cash, a small handful of readiness in coins. We've gone and made money so invisible now, all of it in a card or a phone, that a child can grow up never once feeling a coin pressed into their palm. Keep a little change in your drawer. It's a small thing, but small things were the whole point. Number 15. The coupons and the trading stamps. Held together with one of those very rubber bands we already talked about, there was a little fat bundle of coupons clipped from the newspaper, and for many a family, a book or two of trading stamps, the kind you got at the market and licked and pasted into little books. Saturday morning, my mother would sit at the table with her coffee and her scissors snipping the coupons out, and she'd say, "Every one of these is a nickel back in my pocket." And she filled those stamp books page by page and traded them in for a toaster, a lamp, a set of dishes we used for 20 years. It was patience turned into money, a little at a time. We let all that go as fuss and bother, but there was real dignity in it, in a woman quietly clawing back $1 here and $1 there for her family. Clip a coupon now and then. Feel that old satisfaction. It's still in there. Number 16. The corkscrew and the odd little openers. There was always a corkscrew, and usually a couple of those mystery gadgets nobody could quite name, the jar lid grippers, the rubber disc for a stuck lid, the little key that rolled open a tin of sardines. Each one solved exactly one stubborn problem, and on the day that problem came, you were the hero of the kitchen. "Who can get this jar open?" My grandmother would call out, arthritis in her hands, and a child would run to the drawer for the rubber gripper, and pop, the lid would turn, and you'd feel 10 feet tall. Keep a jar gripper in your drawer. The day will come, sooner than you think, when it saves the supper and somebody's pride. Number 17. The ruler and the tape measure. A wooden ruler gone soft at the edges, and maybe a cloth tape measure curled up like a little snail, because somebody always needed to measure something. The window for a new curtain, the boy's foot for new shoes, the length of a shelf. Run and get the tape measure. And there it was. No guessing, no running to the store to buy one, no ordering it and waiting 3 days. The measure of things was right there in the drawer, ready when life asked a question that needed an inch or two for an answer. Keep something to measure with. A house is forever asking how big, how long, how far. The old drawer always had the answer. Number 18. The little hoard of nails, screws, and picture hooks, rolling loose in the bottom or tucked in an old pill bottle. There was always a small collection of hardware. A few nails of different sizes, a screw or two saved from something taken apart, a couple of picture hooks, because somebody was always wanting to hang a new photograph of the grandchildren. When my mother wanted a picture up on the wall, she didn't make a list and drive to the store. She opened the drawer, found a hook and a nail, and it was up before the coffee got cold. Those few bits of hardware saved 100 trips and $100 over the years. Save the odd screw, save the picture hook off the old frame. Your future self, standing there wanting to hang something on a quiet Sunday, will bless you for it. Number 19. The list of numbers. Taped inside the drawer, or on a curling little card, was the list. The doctor, the fire department, the plumber who didn't cheat you, Aunt Ruth's number, and the neighbors, and the school. Before everything lived in a phone that could die or get lost, the important numbers lived right there in your mother's handwriting, where anyone in the family could find them in a crisis. "The numbers are in the drawer," she'd say, and a child could call for help if ever they had to. There's a safety in that we've quietly given up. Write down the numbers that matter on a real piece of paper and put it somewhere everyone knows. The day you need it most may be the very day the screen goes dark. Number 20. The postage stamps and the good pen. Last but not least, there was nearly always a book of stamps and a pen that actually worked, the good one, the one you tested on the corner of an envelope first, because people wrote letters then. A thank you note, a birthday card, a few lines to a soldier far from home or a son away at school. And when the moment came to send a little love through the mail, everything you needed was right there in the drawer. We've nearly stopped writing them, those letters, and I think we're poorer for it. Keep some stamps and a good pen, and once in a while, Write to somebody who'd be amazed to hear from you. It costs almost nothing, and it can mean the world. Now, before I give you that last thing, the one I've been promising, let me ask you something. Are you starting to see it? That this drawer was never junk at all? Every single thing in it was there for one reason. So that you were ready. So that the little troubles of life, the popped button, the dark kitchen, the locked door, the broken handle, never grew into big ones. That drawer was a family saying, quietly, every single day, we can handle whatever comes. And if that idea warms something in you, subscribe and stay with me, because keeping these old ways alive is the whole reason I'm here. So why did we stop? Why did the drawer disappear? Here's the honest truth, and it's number 11 in a way. We got convinced that being ready was the same as being cluttered. The magazines told us to throw out anything we hadn't used in a month. The stores wanted us buying a brand new specific gadget for every single job instead of making do with a screwdriver and some string. And little by little we cleared out the drawer, and we felt so modern doing it, but we didn't get organized, we got dependent. We traded a drawer full of readiness for a credit card and a store that's always open, and we started paying again and again for every little thing that drawer used to hold for free. And now, the thing I promised you. The thing that drawer always had that yours never will. Come back with me to a winter night, the wind howling, and the power goes out. The whole house goes black and silent, and I want you to notice something. Nobody screamed. Nobody panicked. In the dark, my mother's hand went straight to that drawer, the way it had 1,000 times, and found the matches and that fat little candle by feel alone. And she struck the match, and the flame caught, and the kitchen bloomed back into being, warm and gold, our faces glowing around the table. And we'd sit there, the whole family, in that little circle of candlelight, and somebody would tell a story, and somebody would laugh, and those blackout nights are some of the warmest memories I have of my whole childhood. The television was dead, the lights were out, and we had never been closer. All because a hand knew where the candle was. And in that moment, with the storm raging outside and the wind rattling the window pane, we were safe. We were together. We were ready, and not one of us was afraid. That's the thing your drawer will never have. Not the candle, the readiness. The deep, quiet, bone-level knowing that whatever came, a storm, a shortage, a hard turn, your family had what it needed and would be all right. Think about how different it feels now. The power goes out today, and what happens? We pull out a glowing phone, watch the battery tick down, and wait, helpless, for someone else to come and fix it. We've handed our readiness over to the power company, the store, the delivery truck, the people on the other end of a phone line. And when they can't come, when the roads are bad or the shelves are empty or the line is busy, we have nothing of our own to fall back on. That drawer was the opposite of that feeling. That drawer was a family that fell back on itself and stood just fine. We didn't keep that drawer because we were poor or because we were pack rats. We kept it because it made us steady. It made us calm. It made us a little bit unbreakable. And when we threw it out, that's what we really lost. Not the rubber bands, the peace of being ready. And here's the part that I find almost funny, in a sad sort of way. We threw out the drawer to be modern, and now the modern folks are paying good money for the very idea of it. They sell you a kit now, a tidy little box with a few rubber bands and a roll of tape and a tiny screwdriver, and they call it an emergency kit, and they charge you $20 for it. Your mother had a better one, fuller, wiser, and completely free, sitting in the second drawer down. We didn't lose the drawer because it stopped working. We lost it because somebody convinced us that a thing had to be bought in a package to be worth having. And that, friend, is the saddest trade of all. My mother has been gone many years now, but I still keep a drawer. Rubber bands off the newspaper, a ball of string, the good scissors, a clothespin or two, a stub of pencil, a candle, a book of matches, a few coins in the corner, and the important numbers taped inside. And every time I slide it open with that same little jiggle, lift and pull, I hear her voice plain as day calling from the next room. It's in the drawer. And you know what? It always is. It always is. So let me ask you, and I do read every one of these, what is the one thing your family always kept in the drawer, the thing that, the second I say it, takes you right back? Share it down below so the next person can smile at it too. That's how we keep these memories alive, you and I, one story at a time. And if opening this old drawer with me tonight brought back something warm, if it made you miss someone, or made you want to go start a drawer of your own this very evening, then subscribe and stay a while. Pull up a chair. There's always room at this table, and there's always another story coming. Take good care of yourself. And the next time the lights go out, may your hand know right where the candle is, because that, my friend, is what it really means to be ready.